Hello dear friends, I'm Marina and this video is part of the series about the 12 zodiac signs. Today we are gonna talk about Cancer, the fourth sign and also the first water sign from the 12 zodiac signs. If you prefer to read this material as an article, you can find the link below this video. So first of all, what's the symbol of the sign Cancer? So we have clamps. First of all, they show the propensity for attachment of the sign or people with strong Cancer energy. They want to keep things. They want to stay attached to something. On the other hand, Cancer also has a shell. Whenever we have a shell or something tough as a material, it serves for protection. So it shows that what's inside is very sensitive, is very tender, is very vulnerable. So we can understand why Cancer people are so sensitive, so emotional, and they need an extra protection. They need something to serve as a barrier between them and the outer, harsher world. Now, which are the key phrases? So what's the main thing about Cancer? It's the sign of feelings. So the key phrase is I feel. Where does it come from? Of course, from the element. This is a water element, as we said, the first water element from the zodiac. So emotions, feelings, sensations are extremely important for this sign. On the other hand, we need to pay attention that the sign is cardinal, the modality is cardinal. So the cardinal element or the cardinal modality makes Cancer actually a more active sign. I know that for some people this will sound strange because there is a belief that, Cancer people, they are too passive or sometimes even lazy. But the truth is that when it comes to emotionally important things for Cancer, something which activates his feeling or is maybe related to the people that he loves, actually Cancer can be very active. So don't forget this. Cancer people, they're capable of taking action as long as the issue concerns them personally or triggers certain emotions or is related to helping someone they love or especially family members. Now, which are the key characteristics of the sign? As we said, first of all, sensitivity. Cancer people, they are extremely sensitive, extremely emotional, and also vulnerable. They need to take care of others. This is also the sign of protection, the sign of taking care. By taking care of other people, children, partners, family, the community, Cancer people actually feel needed, they feel valuable, they feel necessary. So for Cancer people, it's extremely important to feel like, they can provide for somebody else. They can take care, they can support. They're also very compassionate. They can be very supportive on an emotional level as well. They may feel others, this is because of the water element. Water is about exchange of emotions, feeling the other person, being compassionate. And those things are very close to Cancer and their nature. Now, another thing which are also typical for Cancer, they're very intuitive. They can feel things which are beyond the surface. They can understand other people on another level. They may literally, have these intuitive insights or ideas, or in some way they know how also to take care of the other person or what the other person truly needs. This also comes from the increased intuition and also desire to support and be needed. Now, another thing which is also kind of more, related to the dark side of the sign. This is related to the increased emotionality and also possible instability, especially on an emotional level. The typical Cancer person has very frequent shifts related to their mood, their emotions, their feelings. Literally, you know, in the morning the person might be sad or over worried, and during the afternoon his mood is completely different. He can be cheerful and joyful and calm. So frequent changes of mood, that's very typical for Cancer people. Where does it come from? It comes from the ruler of the sign. The planet which rules this sign is the moon. And we know how changeable is the moon. Literally, you know, when you look in the skies at night, every night you see a different side of the moon. It's growing, then we have a full moon, then, you know, it gets closer to the new moon, it becomes invisible. So each night you see a different side. You know, the moon is different. That's the same which happens with Cancer people. They may also change their moods, how they feel, you know, even their level of energy might be up and down. And that's related also to the phases of the moon. If you're a strong Cancer person, I mean your sun, ascendant or moon is in Cancer, then it's very possible that the phases of the moon also affect you, affect your mood, affect the level of your energy. And I can definitely confirm that because I'm a Cancer ascendant, and I know that around the new moon, before the new moon, each month, the level of my energy is much lower. I need to take a rest. I'm not so motivated. I need a relaxation. So pay attention, observe how the phases of the moon affect you. And it's considered that generally women are more affected by the moon because the moon is a very sensitive, very feminine sign. Of course, men are also affected to a certain level, but women are more affected. Even their period, their menstrual cycle is affected by the moon. Just like, you know, the cycle is 28 days, the menstrual cycle, so is also the lunar cycle. So there is definitely a connection between those things. Also, the moon affects the fluids on the earth, you know, how it affects the water. So it's not a surprise that it also affects humans, it affects people, especially those with the stronger water element in their chart, and especially the Cancer sign. So one of the dark sides of Cancer sign is that it's too variable, too unstable, especially emotionally. The other thing is also that the love of Cancer people sometimes can be suffocating for others. The desire to be needed, you know, to protect the other person, the people that we love, our children, sometimes can make us suffocating other people. And this is not, you know, always something that Cancer people can realize, because their motivation is positive. They want to protect, they want to do the best they can, but they don't realize that sometimes, you know, every person needs to make their own mistakes, even our children. Everyone has a path, and unfortunately we cannot protect people from everything. And the suffocating love actually is a problem for many people, especially if the other person has lots of fire, lots of air energy. These are people who need freedom. They don't like this intense attachment, you know, when you are kind of suffocating the other person. So that's one lesson for Cancer people, to learn to give more freedom to others, to allow them to go on their path and even to make their own mistakes. That's how everyone grows. That's how we all learn. Now, which is the shadow of Cancer? So what's the difference between dark side and shadow? The dark side is still something that, you know, we can observe, something which, even if it's a little suppressed, we may still connect more to it. On the other side, the shadow, it's something which is in, in complete darkness, something which might be very difficult actually to connect to. So what's the shadow for Cancer people or for Cancer sign? First of all, it's the suppressed aggression. And also it's mostly the passive aggression. So usually we are not used to, accept or see Cancer people as being aggressive. And that's actually the problem. They cannot express the aggression or the need to defend themselves in an open and healthy way. And they are suppressing this energy, which is turning against them. It becomes a passive aggression. It can be internalized as self-aggression, or it might be expressed in an indirect, kind of secret way. This passive aggression, literally. From astrology, we have, an explanation for this. And the explanation is because Mars, which is the planet of aggression and, war and defending ourselves, Mars is very weak in the sign Cancer. Mars is extremely weak, actually, which means that Mars cannot express its full potential or its strong qualities in this sign, which eventually decreases the ability of Cancer sign also to express healthy aggression and, to defend themselves. So they are doing this kind of, from the back door. They can be passive aggressive, or they may turn this aggression against themselves, which sometimes may also be a way to manipulate others. Water signs, more or less all of them, are capable of manipulation, doing something secretly, not directly, not openly, but using other sources. So manipulation may also be part of the shadow of Cancer people or Cancer sign. And also the other side of the shadow is the intense desire to feel needed. When you are taking care, or a Cancer person takes care of others, is overprotective, is trying to be extremely valuable for the other person, this is also a way to make the other person dependent on the Cancer person. And this is also, kind of a way to manipulate, even if it's on a on a subconscious level. Usually it is on a subconscious level. But by taking too much care of others, by being too protective of them, we are also, searching for the sensation of feeling needed, valuable, necessary to others, which may have different levels of interpretation. For example, Cancer people may need to work more on loving themselves, taking care of themselves, increasing their confidence, feeling needed and valuable even when they are not taking care of others. These are some of the things that, Cancer people may think about. Okay, so let's explore the mind and the emotions of Cancer people. What's the typical way of thinking? How the mind works. So first of all, Cancer people, they are not famous with their analytical skills or logical potential. It's because they are too influenced by their emotions, which also applies to their mind and their way of thinking. So Cancer people might be too subjective and too emotional, even when they need to take decisions, when they are analyzing something, when they are thinking about something. The emotions always play part here. So the mind of the Cancer person is not too analytical, and as we said, can be too subjective. On the other hand, what can help the Cancer person is intuition. The intuition actually can help Cancer to take right decisions, or to be able, to feel in which direction he should move or what can be the solution. So as a Cancer sign, as a Cancer person, rely more on your intuition, on your internal guidance instead of, your ability to evaluate outer circumstances or even your judgment, or, using more the logical mind. And also, what type of emotions do Cancer people have? As we already said, the emotions are extremely important. They are very intense. They can be very sentimental, sometimes even dramatizing. Drama is something which is familiar to all of the water signs, mostly to Scorpio, but Cancer can also be kind of a drama queen. The person who exaggerates everything and kind of takes things too personally. That's one issue also that Cancer people have. They may take everything too personally. They're too sensitive and vulnerable, and they may get hurt, even when people don't intend to hurt them. It's mostly an internal process. So, intense emotions, possible drama, and also changes. As we said, there are frequent shifts. So emotionally, Cancer people may change. This is kind of, very typical. All right, and what's the lesson for Cancer people? So the main lesson is, first of all, to learn to take care of themselves, just like they would do that for a person they love. So in other words, it's to learn to love themselves and do, what their heart needs, what their spirit needs, what their body needs. And also, the other part of their lesson is to learn not to rely so much on the emotional support of other people or the need to feel necessary for someone else. This is also something that Cancer people need to learn. And now let's talk about a couple of ways which you can use if you want to increase the energy of the Cancer sign. So first of all, why would you want to do that? If you want to focus more on areas related to family, motherhood, taking care of others, or even increasing your intuition, you may need more of the Cancer energy. So which are the simplest way that you can use? First of all, it's important to know that Cancer as a sign is strongly attached to its family, to the history of the family, to the previous generation, and not only to, the mother and the father, but even the generations before that. So one important and actually very powerful way to connect to this energy is to make your own family tree. Meet with the members of your family which are still alive and ask them to describe everything that they remember about other members, about their main characteristics. So literally try to make your own family tree and try to give respect to each of those members, because those connections between generations and family members are extremely powerful. And it's like a topic for a whole training, not only one video, but maybe like a whole course about this connection between generations and and the individual, because it affects our health, it affects our models of our personal life, because there are so many invisible connections. So shortly, make your own family tree and give respect to each of your family members. The other way which you can use is to connect better to your own mother. She can be alive, she can be, not alive anymore, it doesn't matter. But try to connect to her, try to forgive her for whatever she has done. I know that in some cases it's extremely hard, but in those cases it's actually even more important to do that. Forgive your mother for, for her mistakes, for what she has done or didn't do for you. And also, try to understand that she has done the best she can. So give respect to your mother, thank her if possible. You may write her a letter and not even send it to her, but for yourself, at least internally, try to be thankful, grateful, and respectful to your mother. That's very, very important. The other way which you can use to increase the Cancer energy is to do something for your home. As we said, Cancer is the sign of the family, but also the sign related to our home. So do something that will make you feel more comfortable at home. Use Feng Shui or another way, to order things in a harmonious way, to feel nice there, to feel energetically supported when you are at home. And the last suggestion that we have is to help someone who needs support. It could be a friend, it could be a person that you don't know, but support someone, be caring, be empathetic with other people. This is what Cancer people do. And in this way, you will really increase the level of this energy, which eventually may help you to harmonize the Cancer energy in your life. Because even if you don't have a planet's sun or ascendant or another planet in Cancer, you still have this sign somewhere in the chart. Certain house is ruled by this sign, which means that certain life area is affected by this sign. And that's true for every person born on the earth. So more or less, we all need the qualities of the 12 signs. And by exploring them, by understanding them better, we may become whole. We might become, stronger, and we may increase our skills and potential for everything in our lives. So I hope you have enjoyed the video. You may share your opinion, your experience with the sign. How do you feel about this sign? And also don't forget that if you want to learn astrology in depth, you may sign up for the waitlist for Mars Stars Astrology Academy. Make sure to do that now, because the group will be limited and people who have signed up first will have an advantage. The link for that is below the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.